tips and strategies that I would suggest is not to look at it in isolation, actually look at superannuation as part of the bigger picture. I think a trap is if you look at it in isolation and you don't consider your will in a totality and the full family matrix. So a tip with your self-managed fund is to really understand the taxable and tax-free components on your member statements. So really understand what your member statement says and to understand what that means on a taxing point of view, should you pass away, and to who beneficiaries you want it to go to. So depending on the beneficiaries that you want it to go to, there could be significant tax. So it's better to start earlier than later and having those conversations. And it is absolutely an education piece. Knowing who your beneficiaries are or what you want, and then understanding what your situation is now, and then work with your advisor on what strategies that can be done. Any change in life events, absolutely. Any change in life events, not only review your superannuation, but review it in the bigger piece. With regard to superannuation, you may say every 3 years, if you're looking at updating your trust deed and you do your binding death benefit nominations or your reversionary pensions, do that in the same time, but please do not do it in isolation. Probably 99% of the time. Really, because every family is different, and a lot of clients I work with have got companies and trusts, and they've got passive investments, or they've got their house, and they've got their insurance, and they've got their super, and they've got all these assets that they've built up over time. And superannuation, yes, is becoming a significantly big assets, and especially if you have got your self-managed fund. But every situation is different when it comes to estate and incapacity planning, because every family is different. We do have rules that are common, but they sort of sway and move depending on the family matrix. Yeah, I think it's insurance. Understanding that if you have insurance in your superannuation fund, and if you unfortunately pass away prior to, say, age 65, and it is to go to, say, an adult child, there could be tax of up to 32 cents in the dollar. So a lot of people, we are underinsured as a country, so we are encouraging to have insurance, but insurance within super, if it's not planned and strategized for properly, there can be a significant tax bill. Common traps is, once again, understanding the taxation side of their member benefit. We spend a lot of time advising, and clients spend a lot of time accumulating their wealth and do well in their funds. This is not just a self-managed fund, but also super generally. So they do well by accumulating wealth, putting as much money in as they can. But unfortunately, that piece of understanding what would happen on incapacity or death based on their family profile is still very misunderstood. I'm very passionate about this topic because of the fact of the benefits I see if it's done sooner than later. So one, if you're understanding the fact that superannuation is only a part of, and then two, understanding where, having a more of a clear collaborative understanding where you want your assets to go to on an estate point of view, the benefits I see of having an independent come in and help you even project manage or to have that conversation can be really, really harmonious for your family. And it can avoid, potential litigation issues or disgruntled beneficiaries, and just even that education piece for the next generation. So I feel that piece in Australia is still a taboo of not to talk about. We'll worry about it then. But the fallout effect can be really disastrous. But having the conversation now, speaking to a specialist who can help bring your family together and talk about it, can be quite liberating.